wants to recap last session for inspiration. I listened to the recording this afternoon, and fell into a giggle fit at all the same times that I did last week too. So it was a good session.
I can.
All right.
Inspiration. Yeah, I sure am. I'm always out of inspiration. We picked up in the weird torture chamber dungeon at the bottom of the mansion. We explored a few more rooms that looked like they were some sort of dorm or like guard area with like common rooms with tables and stuff, and then a bunch of bedrooms off the side. And after finding some assorted loot in one, we tried to continue on to find the chanting, only to get for Rokea to get stuck to a door, and for a couple of undead creatures to burst out of the walls in one of the bedrooms in what is probably the least OSHA compliant ambush area ever. Uh, they were we won that fight and pressed on. Explored pretty much the entirety um, of the dungeon. We found a. Did we do that first? Yeah, we found a room with a statue of a very impressive looking man with a wolf at his side, holding an orb. And when the orb was removed, that uh, that led to a shadow, an ambush by a bunch of shadows, one of whom played dead and then quickly slinked off when we completely forgot his token was there on the map.
Hey.
Continued to follow the chanting and found ourselves in a kind of strange reliquary room with 13 little cubbies holding a number of very strange items, including like severed hag's fingers, bat poop, shrunken halfling head was my particular favorite. Well, second favorite, because the orb made from a Nothic eye is still like that's just the creme de la creme of weird right there. Went through lifted up a portcullis and went into a room where there was a raised dais. And when somebody stepped on it, I genuinely don't remember who at this point, a number of shades, 13, one for each item is my guess, came out. And the chanting that we had heard, they continued something about he is the Lord, he is the land. I think that's right. And then eventually one must die, one must die. And we got into a fight with a giant plant monster that had a name that I don't remember. Not Morgoth. That's is it Morgoth?
It's very close to that. It is.
Is it Agoth? Lord Agoth the Destroyer?
It starts with an
No,
L.
it's the Decomposer, I thought.
Or the Decayer?
Decayer, that's it.
Yeah.
Regardless, had a couple close calls, but did defeat the Decayer. Finished combing through the pile of trash that he had been hiding in, and began to make our way out of the house. Rather than taking the secret compartment we found to the first floor, in the same room as the statue, we decided to go all the way back up to the attic, which turned out to be a major problem when the house then tried to kill us. There were a number of traps. There was Lorgoth the Decayer. There were a number of spinning scythe blade traps. There was an animated suit of armor and an animated broom and all sorts of nasty smoke billowing out of the fireplaces. We did kind of confirm that the children had been laid to rest because their ghosts were not up there still. And so we then had to rely on our Lord and Savior Crowy the Crowbar to disable a lot of the traps and allow us to, with a minor ass beating by the animated broom and a couple insanely close calls, make our way out of the house, which looked completely normal from the outside. There was no sign that the house was on fire, no sign of the smoke billowing out of the fireplaces or light or anything other than a creepy, rundown, abandoned house. We spoke to Irina and Ismark, and got a bit of a rest in to plan our next move.
Yeah, you guys are once again camping out at the Burgermaster's, and have the opportunity to rest through the evening, and decide what it is you'd like to do.
Well, we do need to find the that other Vistani group that we've been told about, and we could also try to follow that procession if we really wanted to, although that seems risky.
Oh, I think it's time we try and meet up with Vestrani and see why it is they wanted us to come here in the first place, and then left us on our own. We should also figure out who among us, if any of us, would like to wear that cloak.
I believe Zeldrin is attuned to it.
Oh, Zelly, you're wearing it. Wonderful.
Yeah. I think I might have picked up some kind of bug in that house, so just a heads up, but I'll unless we decide someone else needs it more, but I think we put forward a point that keeping up the person who can keep y'all up is a good plan. So.
Yes, I think that's a wonderful plan, and smoke inhalation is a real danger, Zelly. Please rest yourself. I look forward to hearing your dulcet tones again.
I've got myself some spirits to try to help wrap things up. So.
Yeah, with a 3-person party, I do need you. So it sounds like Arium and Zazarak, or Zazarak, you are the most. You suggested tracking down the Vistani. Arium,
heading out
you
to
brought it up.
Cebu.
Is that the plan?
Yeah, we should. We're taking Irina with us. We should, make sure she's ready for the road and see if she has any idea what her final destination is going to be. I think I heard someone mention another settlement farther to the west, Valaki or something.
Well, it seems like we should get a nice trance in, make sure that we are fully recovered for our journey tomorrow, and then we know that we are heading west. We just don't know how far west. And I imagine Arena can fill us in as to that as we're on the road.
Sense to me. Are we? I know that we were brought here under somewhat uh, not entirely false circumstances. You understand? It seems as though that perhaps these folks really do need someone to bring the lord of this land back to his senses or his proper self. I just want to make sure we're all on the same page. If should an opportunity arise to return to Daggerford sooner without having done that, are we planning to do something here? I know that there may certainly especially be some feelings about leaving these people to the machinations of the undead. There certainly are considerations for myself.
Yes, I would very much like to get back to Daggerford. However, I do not know how we could show ourselves amongst our contemporaries in the House of the Crescent Moon if we were to inform them that we left all of these good people in the clutches of undead and potentially various other monsters. I do not relish the time away from home, but now that we are here, I feel that we must continue walking down this particular road of fate.
Certainly, I would like to continue to pursue this quest. It would be nice to know that we are not trapped here forever, and that there would be a way home should we need it.
Well,
It is one of those things where I'm sure we would have come along willingly and done all this if asked, but it just feels kind of shoddy to have been forced into it, I guess.
Well, I am glad we all seem to be of a mind. Well, tomorrow we can set out tomorrow and hopefully find some way to better understand what is going on here and what it is exactly that this Madame Ava expected us to be doing here. I mean, helping the Lord of the Land, obviously, but I mean, how? So
Yes, and I believe we are all owed one expert card reading.
Well then, as it is the early evening, you can settle yourselves in for miscellaneous low activity activities. You've already done much in the way of identifying the objects and materials you've collected. Um, Irina has herself busy with preparing to travel. Um, and she even inquires with you to double check that you intend to leave tomorrow.
Well, yes, that is the plan, unless you have any reason why we should delay our departure.
She has no reason, just making sure that that is your intention.
Wonderful.
And upon getting together what belongings she thinks might be necessary, um, she goes to rest for the night. And you all can take your long rest. Remember, you have moved to level 5 if that hasn't happened yet.
And I ended last session with 0 spell slots.
As did I.
Great. Level 5.
Is there anything anyone wants to remark upon doing that night or the morning next?
Yeah, in the morning, I've got something that I would like to do. I'll be just outside the front door.
Okay.
Zelle, I've been thinking for some time about home and our life before here, and how nice it would be if there was something to remind us. And for the longest time, what that could possibly be has escaped me. And I'll start walking around, and slowly I'm just pointing at just points in space. And as I do, there's a pinpoint of light that sort of grows a little bit into starlight. But I've learned some new magic recently, and I think I can bring us a reminder of where we come from. And, after a minute or so, I've walked around and put all these points in space that if you stand back and look at it, it looks sort of like the constellation maybe of a bear, some large mammal. And as I'm talking with my brother over the next 9 minutes, that slowly but surely starts to fill in. I don't know if you remember, but I certainly do. Our pet when we were younger, um, our wonderful hamster Floof.
Oh,
Well,
yeah.
well, I have prayed and prayed and meditated on it, and I have uh, managed to first find a way to connect with Floof's spirit. Um, and I believe I have managed to be gifted with enough divine inspiration that I can give that spirit form. And after 10 minutes, a giant space hamster will appear. My boy Floof.
So wait, you're telling me this is the same floof? This is the spirit of the very same floof that got into all those shenanigans with us?
It is. Now, it's important to know that although it certainly looks and sounds and feels very real and physical, it is not, in fact, um, one and the same. The spirit is one and the same. It is his spirit, but the physical form is uh, very temporary, and can be dismissed as necessary. Um, and it is, I mean, the positive in an environment as hostile as this is that the nothing can be done to Floop's spirit. It is everlasting at this point. So whether the physical form breaks down or not, um, given enough time, I can always call him back. And I figured, given that, well, first, I figured it's a wonderful reminder of where we come from, and it's always wonderful to see you again, Floof, and I'll nuzzle his nose a little bit. But also, given that we are getting ready to head out on the journey, um, I think Floof might be able to help us out with that just a little bit.
Well, that is some incredible work. It's I know it would take some very powerful magic to return Floof to uh, his original floofiness. But letting him come back temporarily to serve and befriend, I'm sure that's what he'd like.
Wonderful.
Uh,
Well, shall we see if Irina is ready to head out?
I
Oh, you know
think
what?
so. Yes.
Actually, before we do that, Ariam, Ariam, are you awake? Well, of course you're awake. Are you done with your trance?
Yes, is there something you require?
Well, I want to introduce you to someone.
And that is, yes. Hello.
Ariam, this fine fur beast right here, this is Floof. It is a magical construct inhabited by the spirit of our childhood pet, hamster. Now, I know hamsters here are much smaller, but this is Floof's genuine actual size. Where we come from, he will be joining us on the journey. And Floof, why don't you say hello?
Chirping and animal noises from the very large hamster.
Now, Floof, I want you to remember, Ariam here is a very dear friend, and you should treat him with just as much respect as you treat Zeldrin, and perhaps a little more respect than you genuinely treat me.
There's just a body that pushes you nearly over.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm talking about, Floof. Thank you.
Well, hello, Floof. This is McCormick. Um,
Oh, yes.
very, very, very pleased to make your. This is the normal size for a hamster. Where you're
Yeah,
from.
it is. I cannot tell you the amount of confusion it caused when I initially heard of hamsters here. It was, mm, yeah, needless to say, a bit confusing.
Yes, I imagine. I imagine so.
Well, look at that. I think McCormick and Floofy are going to be best friends. Oh, yeah, you can get right up there on his head and just hold on with them pinches, McCormick.
Zeldrin, I don't have the heart to tell your brother that McCormick is trying to kill the hamster.
No, yeah, best keep that one to ourselves, I think.
Oh, see, look, he's trying to give him a little hug.
With McCormick hanging on by clumps of fur to the certainly unnoticing gigantic hamster, Irina comes out the front door, kind of confusedly looking for all of you, and seeing that you're all outside, she picks up a she hauls onto her shoulder a bag that she has assembled herself, and with her hair pinned back and a hood over her face, she says, "Is there anything else that we'll be needing to get before we leave?"
Well, if there's a possibility of further horses or possibly a cart for the rest of us, then we should look into that. But elsewise, I think we are ready to go.
I don't know that we have anywhere in Barovia where we could acquire a horse. Most of the horse riders are in the western part of the valley.
Well, then by foot it is.
Well, if you would like, Irina, you may feel free to ride my big fur friend here, Floof.
Your bear is very strange. What has happened to his face?
Oh, yes, well, I know this might seem strange to you, but Floof here is actually a hamster. And from where Zeldrin and I come from, this is the actual size of a hamster. I know it does bear the general form of what we think of as bears, but trust me, his much calmer than your average black or brown bear.
You folks are deeply strange. I do not mean that in any manner of cruelty, but even
Oh,
for the travelers that we have seen in this city, you are unusual.
yeah. No offense taken. We are quite aware.
All right. Well, may the gods bless our journey, and let's set off westward. And Zeldrin will start walking in a direction that is not west.
Oh,
Uh, Zelly, are you sure that's the right direction?
Absolutely not.
Okay, well, let's just take a quick inventory before we head out. Does everybody have enough rations?
maybe?
Okay.
Looks like I'm packing rations enough for 10 days.
Okay, Aaron, what about you? I know that once we hit the road, might be difficult to find food that is suitable for your stomach.
No, I have I have as many days as Zeldrin, and I am a capable enough hunter to supplement what we have with perhaps things we might find or hunt.
Wonderful. And yes, I think you are selling your hunting skills a bit short. You are more than just capable. Very well.
As
Yeah, I
well,
mean,
should the need arise down the road, I do have the ability to uh, create or summon food and water should we need it.
Oh, wonderful. Well, then we are certainly covered. And with Floof here, I'm sure we've got carrying capacity covered. If it was possible to get a cart that he could pull, that would be even better. We could put our gear in there, but I'm afraid to even inquire at the general store how much they would charge for a cart. So I guess, and uh, Zazarak is sort of turning around, trying to figure out which way west is. Yeah, I guess it's time to go. Ariana, what's the quickest way west out of the city here?
She points.
Wonderful. Ah, yes.
With that, the four of you, Hamster and Crab, begin your march through the city and west. The folks of Barovia who are beginning to move about in the mornings once again give you strange looks that none of you are unfamiliar with or unaccustomed to and hardly registers, but just the solemn passing curiosity of folks coming through town that they almost certainly expect to never see again. And as you make your way onto the Svalak Road and the trees begin to encroach upon your vision some, there are aspects of the scenery that make themselves a little bit more both obfuscated and visible. You see, we'll look at the map for a little bit. You guys are down here. You see the foothills of the mountain you begin to pass around that Irina indicates as Mount Baratok. The crests of which and hidden amongst is the castle of the Lord Master himself. She says that passing on the Svarlik Road will take you between the two mountains that sort of chamber the valley and the lands of Barovia entirely. She names them as Baratok and Gakis. And the first half hour of your walk is just quiet. You hear the calls of ravens every once in a while, the fleeting sound of prey animals ducking for cover. Over the trees, there are parts of the mountain that unexpectedly become shining and visible, crests of a lone tower that suddenly vanishes in fog, or the desolate forms of square, odd buildings built into the cliff sides that just sort of melt away in the mist and snow. It almost feels as if you are being tricked into seeing things that aren't there. Mirages that feel more real than a mirage. And within that first half hour, outside of the city of Barovia, you come to a crossing, a river, a crossing of a river, a bridge that is suspended over the clear, crystal blue winter river coming down from the mountains. Irina indicates as the River Ilvlis, let's see, or Ivlis. And I don't think I've ever spelled out some things here. So we've got, so you guys have been passing through and on the Sphalic Woods and Road. That's helpful to you at all. The water looks probably like some of the most natural beauty that you've thus so far seen. The mountains have their deep and foreboding majesty, but like this water actually looks pure, clean, and fresh, unlike so many other things that you have passed so far. And the bridge ahead is a stone structure that looks probably as old as the main gates that you had all passed through into these lands some time ago. The road passes over this bridge, and as you come to it, you hear a grumbling voice from under the bridge call out, "No crossing! One moment!" And then an effortful amount of grunting and groaning as something claws its way over and onto the bridge in your path. A very large creature standing 12 feet tall and with sort of grayed, mottled skin and face and long, gangly arms and claws and sharp, jagged teeth and a face pressed flat nearly. Gives you a crooked grin and says, "I get to dictate who crosses these roads, and before I can decide whether I let you pass, what are you all doing on the road?"
Traveling west, venturing into parts heretofore unknown by us.
I don't think I liked one of those words that you said. No, you are not going to pass unless strike a bargain or I can eat you.
I'm sorry. Can you repeat that last bit?
Well, we can either strike a bargain, and he extends one claw, and he kind of looks thoughtfully and wistfully upwards, and he extends a second claw and says, "I could eat you."
Well, you could eat us, but I rather think you shouldn't.
If we wanted to travel the roads, why would we let you eat us? It would make it very difficult to travel the roads after that.
Well, you're the one who said herefore, ifta, and after. You're cleverer than some. You could figure it out.
Point of fact, I didn't, but I was going to say we were simply traveling west from Barovia, escorting.
She shakes her head.
Well, tell me this. If you wish to bargain, what makes this crossing so affable, so bargainful? What say we walk a few hundred feet to the east and ford across the river by ourselves?
This river doesn't ford.
Then we can simply fly over it then.
You aren't no birds, are you?
You shouldn't presume. I could be a bird.
You don't smell like birds.
If I may ask, who is it that gives you authority over these crossings? Why should we be concerned with?
Well, anyone who has questioned my authority over this bridge has been eaten.
Presumably by you.
He nods proudly.
So you're saying your authority is self-derived?
I'm not that deprived. All right. If you're all so clever, got your wits about you thinking you might be birds when you don't smell like birds and use big long words, maybe you don't want to barter. Maybe we can do a puzzle. Can answer a riddle,
Oh, I do like riddles.
and if you get it
And
wrong, I
puzzles.
get to eat you.
What
Out of-
if you get it wrong? If we get it wrong, you may try to eat us.
What is it that you need if we were interested in bargaining in the first place?
Probably something at least as tasty as. You all smell like. Well, mostly elves. Elves, but spicy. Don't get that many elves out here.
Well, you have quite the nose on you. Oh, that is very well sniffed.
I don't know if we'll be able to provide anything as tasty as ourselves.
You could tell some elves to come out this way. That would help.
How about this? If you let us pass, the next time that we encounter some elves, we'll tell them that they should make their way back to this bridge and meet with you so that you can eat them.
Pretty clever, but it doesn't get me anything now.
Oh, these
Well,
young ones with their instant gratification.
look, I understand your troubles, but we are trying to help you. You don't want anything that you can get now. As you said yourself, we smell spicy. Too spicy for eating, particularly with all these pointy bits that we have about us. We are much better off for you if we go out and about into the world singing the praises of this wonderful bridge. And so instead of eating once today on a meal that will surely tone your stomach, you'll be able to eat night after night with all of the travelers we send this way.
All right. I've come up with a deal. I let you all go. You tell every elf you see to come to this bridge. And you solve a riddle.
Well,
I think that sounds like a fair bargain. Let's hear the
that
riddle.
does sound reasonable.
He sits down cross-legged on the bridge, and his long arms just fall to either side, pretty much the entirety of the forearm, on either side of him, spanning the bridge in their length. And he says, okay, sorry. My father taught me this riddle right before I ate him. Brothers and sisters have I none, but I see a man who is my father's son. Who is that man? And my father, very clever, he told me the answer to this riddle, and there's only one right answer. And he taps the side of his nose.
Sorry, you prefaced this riddle with an anecdote and then concluded it with another anecdote, and so I am unclear where the riddle starts and ends.
Brothers and sisters have I none. And then he thinks for a moment. And I actually have to go back because I know I'm gonna fuck up the words just a little bit if I try to say it. And I don't. And since you're listening now, let's see. That's what I thought. Okay, but I see a man who is my father's son. Who is that man?
May we confer amongst ourselves for a moment? Is
Yes.
this each of us gets a chance or one answer for the group?
He counts each of you, the four of you in total, and says, "One answer each. Three chances."
So, I mean, would the answer just be him?
That is what I thought.
A reflection?
That's exactly what I was thinking, yes.
I mean, particularly, and I point down at the river, it seems like a perfect place to see one's reflection.
What if it's one of those supposedly, went back in time and became your own grandfather, and so, your father is also your son, type of
Yes, and
thing?
you probably had to
Hey,
go to the tribal dance to try and get your father to fall in love with your mother. Well, if it is one of those situations, we have at least two more guesses.
Well, Arian, would you like to present our first attempt?
Sure. All right, then. Is the answer you see yourself?
My father was right. No one's gonna get this. And he wipes his nose. Fishy one's got it wrong.
All right, well, it did seem a little too easy. Brothers and sisters.
Well, I wonder if it's the case that he had two fathers. And so he may not have had a brother, but he might have had a stepbrother.
Yeah, that's what I was just thinking as well.
I'm sorry. Could you just repeat the whole the riddle one more time for me, please?
Sure. My father told it like this. Brothers and sisters have I none. I see a man who is my father's son.
Oh, that's tricky. He's seen one of his brothers because the beginning of the riddle is my father tells it this way. Brothers and sisters have I none. That's the father speaking.
Mm-hmm.
Are you addressing him as this is your answer?
No, like we're addressing the
Okay.
group. I'm addressing the
Okay.
group right now, but I'm pretty
Okay.
sure, like that cracked it. I mean, we'll find out in a second. Say, what is your name, friend?
I don't give my name out to strangers.
Very well. That's fine. What would you like us to call you?
Boss.
Sure thing, boss. I believe you've seen your brother.
uh, I don't think he had brothers. He scratches his chin. I think that's the wrong answer.
Well, do you think or do you know? I mean, think hard. As you said, you ate your father. Is it possible you ate your brother after you saw him?
I don't have brothers. Don't think. I don't think he had any brothers either. Wrong answer.
Well, let's
do we have
see.
any more better guesses, or should I go with the time travel thing?
Well, let's see. The father tells it this way: brothers and sisters have I none,
I see.
but I see my father's son. Well,
I see a man who is my father's son.
Right. So it's
Is it
the
an
father.
brother?
Well, if it's the father
If you hurry,
talking,
I can have you for brunch.
if it's the
Continue.
father talking, if it's the father talking through the whole thing, he's saying, he doesn't have any brothers and sisters, and he sees his father's son, which means the father is seeing himself. So the answer to the riddle would be his father. Would be
You already guessed. You already guessed.
boss's father.
Yes, I see. It's the classic. It's the classic. How many were going to Waterdeep puzzle? That a man 7 wives. Each wife had 7 bags of
Yes,
holding. Each
yes.
bag of holding had 7, and so on and so forth.
Yes, excellent.
He's looking crankier now.
Very well. Final answer. You saw your father.
You promise elves will come back this way.
We promise we will
We
tell
promise
every
we will
elf we
tell
see.
Elves to come back this way.
All right. Fine. And he begins climbing down the side of the bridge for you all to pass.
See, it was the time travel thing.
It really was.
All right. Well, you have a good day, boss. Happy hunting, I guess.
You see a dismissive claw wave you on over the side of the bridge. Briefly let you guys look at that map in case things have gotten bad.
Very nice.
That hamster token.
All right. You continue on the road, having successfully. Huh?
Irina, are those sorts of bridge trolls common here?
I don't get out of the city.
Well, yes, but surely you've heard of. You would have heard from other Passers-by, travelers, stories in town, something?
No, we don't. No.
All right, fair enough.
The people of my village don't leave the village very often. If they do, it is maybe less than a mile into the woods for hunting. The Vistani come through, but most of them just stay at the Blood of the Vine Tavern, talk amongst themselves, do not share many stories. And anyone else who has come as you have, well, they end up joining the ghostly march from the church to the mountains.
Is that the procession we saw after dawn broke that day, after the dire wolves?
Probably, yes. Most Barovians are, or those who live in the city anyway, know of travelers such as yourselves who have come in the past. None have had long lives that we have seen. When we have the opportunities to bury their bodies in our cemetery, uh, Father Donovich says that it is restless spirits of theirs that try to take on Master Zarovich again. And it's rumored that the procession could lead you even to the Castle Ravenloft itself, but I do not think anyone would go to check if that were true.
Hmm. That may be that that may be worth revisiting at some point. The idea of this procession.
Is there anything else anyone talks about or would like to make observations for, or anything as you walk? Okay. Some more time passes still in what feels like the cool of the morning. Um, when you've maybe been walking for another 45 minutes or so, uh, maybe not quite an hour, past none of you have keen mind. I don't know why I'm being that specific. Um, since you have passed the bridge, hearing the sound of the river now some ways behind you, and ahead of you, uh, you see ahead of you a fork in the road against a small cliff face of one of the foothills. An old wooden gallows creaks in a chill wind that blows down from the high ground to the west. There is a frayed length of rope that dances from its beam, and the well-worn road that you are upon splits on either side of it. There's a signpost opposite the gallows that points off in three directions. Barovia Village, the way you've come, Zierpool to the northwest, and Ravenloft, as well as Valaki, painted to the road that's heading southwest. The northwest fork, where indicated Zierpool is, slants down and disappears into the trees, while the southwest fork clings to an upward slope. across from the gallows, a low wall, crumbling in places, partially encloses a small plot of graves that are shrouded in fog. Show you what we're looking at.
Comforting.
So one direction says Serpools, one direction says Wallaki, and the other direction says Barovia.
Would seem we've come to our decision point.
Irina, would you feel inclined to accompany us to the Serpools, or does your destination pull you towards Vallaki? Should we travel there first?
I think as I might be compelled to get where I need to go quickly, it would be very foolish of me to leave your sight.
Indeed, that is not a question. We shall stay by you. I just would not intend to pull you along on our trip to the Serpools if you were against that. I think if that is our eventual destination, we could, of course, detour through Wallachia first.
I know that Valaki is still another maybe half day's travel, some distance. I do not know how close Zerpul is, but I know that the Vastani who come through, they do not often require much provision or resupply traveling through Barovia to their encampment.
Well, that is good news. However, there's no telling how long our business might keep us in Serpool. So, unless you are prepared to stay there for some indeterminate amount of time, I think our best bet might be to take you to Vallaki. That is, if that is your final destination.
I think yes.
Well, yes. All right, Ariam, Zeldrin, what say you? I personally, I would feel bad dragging you, Irina, to Sarah Pool, only to have you stay there while we do whatever it is that we need to do for the Vistrani.
I think I'm in agreement. I think if we head to Vallaki and make sure you are set up well, and that would be a more comfortable option.
I believe it's unanimous then.
Wonderful. And you believe it to be about a half day from where we are currently?
I certainly am not. I know very little about it, but I think that is at least what has been said.
Oh, well, wonderful. And don't you worry if it takes any more than a half day. We'll just leave you on the side of the road. Nice to see you still have a sense of humor. Very well, shall we?
You begin your way, following the road signs. And what is happening? Here we go. And as you continue your march, Zeldrin, you hear something coming through the trees, dropping its way out right now, buddy, down the rocks and through the underbrush. Something is moving quickly and without footfalls, tumbling in your direction, rolling down the hillside. 5 misshapen figures, barely able to keep themselves upright, sagging and loafish and strange in their movements. Figures covered in sackcloth, and as they tumble, shedding black raven feathers from the seams of their clothing. And as they roll in your direction, these scarecrows, upon landing on solid ground, begin to haul their shoulders upwards, right in their heads, and the hands that they have are bladed knives. We're going to roll initiative.
Woo. So, fun coincidence. So my computer has like the Bing search bar that every day it shows like a little doodle for like a holiday. We made a Back to the Future reference earlier, and today is Back to the Future Day, and the little doodle is of a little hoverboard and the
Nice.
weird future jacket that Marty gets. Apparently, October 21st is the date used for like the setting of future
On the flux capacitor, yeah.
Yeah.
I think.
Was that Adam?
I'm trying to figure out what to do if I'm not mounted on Floof, and I think he just goes right after me.
I think that this spell was written prior to those intuitive rules, so I think
Right.
technically he has his own initiative. Which definitely sucks.
I'll roll one and we'll figure it out later. Oh boy, that's not good.
All right. I'm going to move on. We'll move into initiative, and if something comes up that you want to... Or initiative... there we go. There we go. All right. The scarecrows, many of them continuing their tumbling descent down the hill. Let's move some of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 5. Excellent. The 3 of you, as the stitched faces kind of split into grins that spit out black raven feathers, I need the 3 of you to make wisdom saving throws against Frighten.
Oh, that's not good.
Oh no.
It'll be okay.
The two Sunstrider brothers, not so afraid of these creatures. Neither of you are frightened, but Arium, there's something deeply unsettling. There's actually something about the spitting of the feathers and the fact that they are stuffed such that is deeply unnerving to you. You are paralyzed as they come barreling at you. The one who has made it into your range immediately throws out its arms in a whirlwind of clattering daggers. Hold on, buddy. Hey. With a 20 and an 18 to hit.
Yeah, those will both hit, and as I'm paralyzed, I believe they crit. Or no, that's for something else.
You know, it's
Let me look.
No, I
yeah.
think
The paralyzed creature is incapacitated. Attacks that hit the creature is a critical hit if the attacker is within 5 feet of the creature. So yeah.
Okay. All right. So this one fucking got you. I will roll some extra dice then. Do you want me to just give you the total for all of that?
Yeah. I'm not resistant to anything right now.
Okay.
Well, it's not true. I'm resistant to cold, but I don't think that.
Just out of curiosity, is that one attack or two attacks?
This is two separate attacks.
Okay, can you split them up in case I want to use my channel divinity?
Yeah. So the first attack will do a total of 16 points of damage. Again, these are criticals. And then the second one does a total of 19 points of damage.
Okay.
Yeah, I will use my reaction to rebuke the violent.
Okay. Wisdom saving throw is a 6. That's radiant damage dealt back. And you've used this before, but how does this appear now?
It as this scarecrow impacts my friend, it is just radiant light that shoots out of Arium and right back into this scarecrow.
All right.
To not only punish it for doing the damage initially, but trying to discourage it from doing damage again.
Okay. The one beside it who has come and is like reaching over to Arium upon seeing its ally be pierced by divinity, flails its arms out at Zazarak with a 16 and a 13 to hit.
The 13 will miss, but the 16 will hit.
Okay, that will be a total of 7 slashing damage.
Okay.
Arium is next.
is it at all
I am
possible for me to
paralyzed.
try to, like, Zeldrin and I tied on initiative, and I would love to go first.
Uh, so as DM, as game rules go, what is supposed to be the case if you tie on initiative is players decide who goes first.
Uh-huh.
So players decide who goes first.
Because if I can go first, I can give Arium his turn. Well, not give his turn back, but give him his next turn back.
That is true, but I will also say that this is theoretically something that would be decided before combat started. I just didn't see that you guys had identical order. So
Uh-huh.
it is players' decision though. So
Well, I think in this case, we're going at the same time, but he's paralyzed, so I go a little bit faster. And I'm just gonna do my channel divinity Twilight Sanctuary. And so at the end of Arium's turn, we'll be able to remove the frightened condition.
Okay.
Am I frightened or am I paralyzed?
You are frightened, and it reads the frightened target is paralyzed.
Huh, okay.
It's one of those
Interesting.
while frightened in this way or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So that's my action. For my bonus action, I am gonna pop up a spiritual weapon. I'll just drop it right here and attack the guy right next to me.
Mhm.
There it is,
19 will hit.
9 force damage.
Okay. So, Arium, it is your turn. And at the end of your turn, your frightened effect will go away. Zazarak.
I'll just turn over or look over my shoulder at Irina. You hop on Floof, and when you do, he will keep you safe to the south. You understand, Floof? And then I will take a couple swings at our friend right in front of me.
Okay.
I do not have advantage.
That sucks. But the
Yeah.
22 will still hit.
All right. And I, with my new found skill with the blade, I will take another full swing.
Okay. Oh my god.
And then I will let that momentum carry me around and try and slice this thing right up the center.
Okay. Yeah. 3 whirling spins of the blade, and the fabric of it comes completely undone, and the pile of feathers just scatters across the road. It's undone.
And yeah, that's all I got.
Okay. Irina. Oh, back. Here we go. Takes half her movement to figure out how to mount a hamster, and they scurry back. Okay. The scarecrows. Despite seeing Arium that your movement has returned, they dive after you. Let's see. AC is 16.
Mhm.
And as this this flurry of rusted daggers on the limp ends of sleeves tied off comes over you. Most of them glance over your armor or are widely cut, but you do end up taking 13 points of slashing damage.
Okey-doke.
Oh my god. And then the one here reaches forward, will attack both Zazarak and Arium, but miss Arium. Hit Zaz with a 22 for 5 slashing.
Mm-hmm.
It'll be Zeldrin's turn.
All right. That's 7 temporary hit points. That should have gone to Zaz.
Thank
I
you.
need to move that. That button was conveniently at the bottom, but now it's like in the middle somewhere. Just gonna move it to the top. Okay. With my action, I'm going to cast another aura spell, a Beacon of Hope. Well, it's actually not an aura, but all of my friends. I guess these guys don't matter. Irina's out of range, but
How dare you talk about Floof that way?
Floof's in range. Floof gets it.
Oh, my apologies.
Yeah, so the two of you, advantage on wisdom saves and death saves, and will regain the maximum number of hit points possible from any healing. I can't actually do any healing this turn though, with having cast that. But I think if you take any potions, those count. And then bonus action, my spiritual weapon, I'll just move it down a couple spaces and have it attack just this guy.
$15 will hit. Oh, almost took that health from Arium. Oops. Okay.
Big ol' hit with the spectral hammer.
Yeah, that's a very good strike. Okay. Arium.
Oh boy. Suddenly moving, but also bleeding profusely, Arium is going to pull the trident out. He will spin it around and bring it up underneath this one, hauling a gout of flame with it as it goes. I will go ahead and cast Green Flame Blade.
Okay.
That is a damage roll. That is not an attack. Cool.
All right. We're doing fire and
Hold
not
on.
reflavoring it as ice, right?
Did we were we? Oh
I mean,
shit,
I
I
said I
don't
would.
know.
No, I said I would let you if you wanted to, but I wasn't gonna make you.
Oh god, I don't remember if I chose to or not.
Just some cold fire.
Yeah. How cool is that?
The correct answer is very cool.
Thank you. Thank you, Adam.
Against certain,
You're welcome.
let me hit and see if it even matters, and then I will see if we made a decision somewhere. Oh fuck.
What'd you roll?
That's a 25 to hit.
Okay, well that will hit. Tyler, can you come figure out what Miles is trying to eat? He wants to eat something, but I don't know.
Certainly come try.
I do not have the right of the frozen on, so you can ignore the right damage, which was only 1 to begin with, but it would be 8 piercing, and then 4 either fire or cold. I genuinely do not remember.
I hate to do this. I need you to make a commitment right now.
I am pretty sure now that you say it, I am pretty sure that yes, I had decided that it would be cold instead of fire.
Cool.
Which,
okay.
In this moment of fighting scarecrows, I suddenly regret. However, I'm pretty positive that it was going to be cold damage. I'm going to have to go back and listen to the session 0 and find out. But
I think that might have happened outside of that too. I have no idea. I remember that conversation. Cold damage sounds good. Some just biting flame. Let's see. And was it the one right here?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's the one directly to my south is the one that I'm attacking.
Yes. Okay.
And the green fire cold leaps to a different creature of my choice within 5 feet. At the one near both Zeldrin and Zazarak. It would take, I believe that is the second die roll. Yep, that is the 5.
Okay. Can I say I've never seen someone use this spell?
I mean, Booming Blade is inarguably the superior choice, but
It is. I remember having this conversation with everyone, though, that Booming Blade is better, but it sucks because it just means everyone always just takes Booming Blade.
yeah, I was not sad to see that changed in one. The change to that cantrip that.
Yeah.
Wait, no, not the cantrip. It was changed something. Done. Whatever. Who cares? The point is, I frosted that dude's tips a little bit.
Okay. All
I'm
right.
so sorry, y'all. I'm so sorry. That's it for me. I'm done.
All right, Zazarak.
Okay. Yeah, I think I'm gonna try and carve into this one that my brother's been hitting with a spiritual weapon.
Okay. Uh-huh.
And I'll take my second attack.
That'll also hit.
All right. And then with my bonus action, I'm actually gonna call out to my brother, Zelly, I think I can buy you some time, but I think our friend Ariam could use a little help. And with a bonus action on Ariam, I will cast Sanctuary.
Ooh, excellent.
I don't know what you did to these fellows, Ariam, but they seem pissed. Thank you.
Right. Oh, the scarecrows have to make wisdom saving throws because all of them do try to get Arium. Oh, that's a lot of high roll. Okay, two of them. Two of them do save. The other two just then turn on Zazarak, who is closer.
Mhm.
For those attacks, your AC is a 16. So two of them hit. For 5 and 5.
Great.
And
Wow, that
for
Twilight Sanctuary is awesome.
right. And for Arium, the two that have saved, one of them is going to try to throw its arms around you, grabbing at you. We're going to try to grapple you.
Okey-doke. I will resist with athletics.
Okay.
Not very well.
All right. I did roll a nat 20, so this fella grabs you, and he is going to leave Zazarak's threatened space, but he's going to drag Arium uh, onto up the road.
All right, so I have not used my reaction, so I can take an attack of opportunity, correct?
That is correct. Also, I think I can only go that far. Okay.
Ooh.
That will hit though.
Okay.
Okay. And the one who is following his carrying friend is going to with your arm sort of like held up, Arium, this one tries to just gut you in your exposed stomach. One attack is an 18
That'll hit.
for 8 slashing.
Okey-doke.
And Zeldrin, it is your turn.
Okay, I'm going to risk the opportunity attack and run over to Arium.
Right? It actually doesn't care to lash out at you.
Okay. And once I get to Arium, I will cast a second level Cure Wounds, which, because of the Beacon of Help, will automatically do max healing, which is 16 plus 5, so 21 healing.
Nice.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you.
And then I will have the spiritual weapon make its attack at the one that didn't just attack me.
Okay.
Sorry, there's hot stuff on the stove. I don't want to leave Miles in here with
No,
it.
you're absolutely correct about that. Oh, come on. I'm rolling for you. Wow, I rolled 12 in damage, 17 to hit.
And that will be it.
Okay. Arium, you're up.
Whichever of the two of these looks the worse.
They're kind of on equal footing. They've both
Alright.
lost some limb.
Alrighty. Well, the one that has me grabbed, then.
Yeah.
I will take the attack action.
Okay.
You know what? Now that I have some health, actually, I will take the bonus action to activate my Hemocraft die. I take 2 points of necrotic damage. So I can turn that back on. Should have done that this morning. Don't know why I didn't. For a 26 to hit.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. 8 piercing and 6 cold. And I have extra attack now. For a 20 to hit
Uh-huh.
for 12 points of damage. 2
That one
cold
is
and 10 piercing.
speared and then rent through, and it collapses around you.
That's it for me.
Okay. Zazarak.
Yes, I'm not at all sure what I've done to anger them so much.
All right. Zazarak will sort of center himself and quietly just, Prince of Stalls, please give me strength and let me strike true. And I will cast Divine Favor with my bonus action. And then I will go all crazy on our friend right here. Take a couple swings.
Okay. That will hit. That one is decapitated.
All right. And then this guy down here. Ooh, that's no good.
Oof.
But I will move. Actually, I'll move right here.
Okay.
And that'll be that.
Okay. And the remaining scarecrows, this one does begin moving towards Arium once again, but actually, no, he can just get
Max
around.
temp
Yeah.
HP for both of you.
Nice.
Does not. Wow. Okay, there's a handful of nat ones from me. Only the one down here is able to catch you with one of its clawed hands, Arium, with a 20 to hit for 5 slashing. And then it is Zeldrin's turn.
All right. I will move the spiritual weapon over here. Have it attack this one.
Okay. Yeah.
11 force.
Okay.
And then I will just also attack that one with my own hammer.
Yeah. Okay, just kind of when you smack it, just a burst of feathers pops out of it, and it just turns its split grin at you. Okay, Arium.
Mm. Don't think I'm going to change. So yeah, the same one that the spiritual weapon is on. I will just try to pull all the stuffing out, toss it around like I've got a pitchfork instead of a trident.
That will hit.
For 15.
That one is hurled back and pitched.
And then the last one.
Okay. Uh-huh.
It's 20. For 13.
Hope that is. Hey, how do you want to do this?
This one just gets after dispatching the last one, there's a little jump. He knocks this one onto the ground, pins it to the ground, and the frost just sort of slowly creeps its way up all the stuffing and just freezes it there.
All right. And that will be the end of initiative.
Irene, are you all right over there?
She gives you a thumbs up, clinging white knuckle to the fur of the hamster.
Oh, I'm so glad to hear it. What a good boy, Floof. You did such a good job. Yeah, let me give you some chin scritches.
I'll go ahead and give Arium another level 1 cure wounds. So that'll just be a flat 13.
Thank you. Oh my goodness. I greatly appreciate that. I'm not sure why they had it in for me so badly, and I'm going to. This is water out here. No. Yes. No.
What?
Off
No,
the
that's the
road here.
cliffside.
Ah, excellent. Even better. I am tossing bits of scarecrow down the cliffside.
Okay.
I have no idea what's happened or why they had it. Why they had such a vendetta, but that's fine. Everything's fine. I appreciate the healing and the support.
Of course. Any of these bodies that Arium is not pitching, Zazarak would like to rip apart and see if there's anything in there that indicates how they were up and about, moving around, anything of any value, anything like are these really just scarecrows? Like, what's going on here?
Yeah, sure. Why don't you make me an investigation check?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
You can tear open the shirts and loose fabric that makes up the tied up torso, and there is some remnants of structure built inside of them. Some of them have poles, some of them have broken broomsticks as like joints. Um, uh, but the thing that is just the most surprising, there is some straw used to stuff these, but it is almost entirely raven feathers, which
Look,
is deeply unnatural and weird.
I know you two are not gonna believe this, but and I'll pull one out. It's the fucking brooms. They've got it in for us, friends.
They
No,
gonna kill a bunch
probably
of
not.
ravens to stuff these scarecrows with.
Well,
Maybe
I
it was
have.
the feather dusters that they made an alliance with.
Perhaps. We are at war with cleaning supplies. That doesn't sound very likely, does it?
No, not very.
Well, at least we have dispatched this crew, and now we will be on guard for any other scarecrows we see on our travels.
All right. With that, you continue on your way to Valaki, is that right?
Yeah, I believe so.
I think so. Yeah.
Okay. Back on the road south and west. You see that this road has a little bit more traffic. Not that you see traffic, but that this road is more well worn. It is closer to the hills and to the mountains than previous, and every few hundred yards there is a dip or a lift that greatly impacts the speed at which you're able to travel. Um, it is such that you're hitting about midday. You have no destination in view, certainly through the mist, but you have no idea how far you feel like you've actually properly gone, as you just begin to feel a little winded from the strenuous up and down hills. Um, as you are walking, there is sound of a voice ahead. Someone who is talking in kind of pitched tones. The words are a little bit hard to make out just over the hill. And as you pitch and begin the downward steps over this crest, you see an individual in a long, heavy black oilskin coat, who is sitting crouched in the middle of the road, who is holding his fingers out as if beckoning something that is off the side of the road. And he's talking. Every once in a while, he gets up a little bit and stretches, but then he gets back to crouching and beckoning something. He does not seem to notice you.
Do we try to go around and not disturb him, or should we?
Well, what if he is in need of some assistance?
Only one way to find out, I suppose.
True. Hello, friend. You in
He
need of a hand?
he jumps at your voice and falls backwards. Is- Hello, hello, strangers. Careful. Eh. He looks over his shoulder up the road and then squints at you as he tries to get back to his feet. Who are you?
We are just fellow travelers. We mean you no harm. We're perfectly happy to just go around and continue with our travels. Just curious if you needed a hand.
I no, I do not. I do not think I do. Thank you. And where are you going? And he looks back over his shoulder up the road.
We are headed to Valaki.
Oh, oh, good. He gets up and dusts off his hands that seem to be covered in ash. As you're getting a little bit closer, you can see. The ash just sort of catches on the black leathers of his coat. Uh, and he said, "You're going to Valaki. You have met a good fortune then." And he sticks out his still dirty hand to you. He is very thin, um, and his skin is very, very pale. Um, he sort of has brownish hair as well that is overgrown and held back, but not with any care. Victor
Oh,
Valovich.
Victor,
I'll
it's a
spell it.
pleasure to meet you.
Hey, what brings you all to Valaki then? Valakovich. Sorry.
Have the Vistani been by here anytime recently? We have business with one who has been referred to us as Madam Ava.
Vistani. He lets his hand drop untouched. Uh, uh, there is there are Vistani at Valaki. Though if you are looking for any who have come on this road, no, I do not have any memory. Not recently, anyway. I've only been out here. It was before the sun came, which is. And he looks up. Well, not in the last 12 hours, I think.
You have been out on this road for 12 hours.
Yes, it would
Where
appear
are you
so.
headed?
Oh, I'm headed nowhere. He puts a hand on his chest. I am Valaki. I have just taken some time out of the city for my own work. And he nods towards the bushes where he's been beckoning to. Kind of see some small movement in the bush as well. Small creatures. You don't immediately make out their form.
What is it you are doing out here? What is it you are trying to catch?
Oh, catch, no. Train. I am training. Yeah, come here. And he crouches down again, and then with a little bit more force, you see that he snaps his fingers, and that snap has a arcane depth to the sound that it makes. And out comes from the brush a small cat that looks much too old to be able to walk. But it walks with almost a robotic movement across the path to him. He puts his hand on it. I'm training some beasts that once knew how to hunt, seeing if they still can manage. You want a pet?
Sure. I will tentatively pet this very old cat.
It is cold to the touch, and its
Yeah.
fur is quite matted.
Yeah. Well, that is quite a task you have undertaken. And how many animals like this are you currently training?
What do you say? And he looks down at the cat's face for a moment, kind of rubbing the sides of its cheeks, and says, maybe 4 right now, if one of them has not been wandering off.
And they're all able to hunt at the same time?
Uh, they can move independently. We are still in the training form of hunting.
Hmm.
What could you possibly hunt with creatures such as these?
Mostly small critters. This is mostly an attempt to see if it can be done. Most often, creatures such as fallen past their prime, they are no longer interested in performing the tasks of their youth.
And you have never encountered. I mean, when we first arrived here, we had large wolves chasing us along the roads.
Yes, of course. The dire beasts of the master of the lands.
Hmm.
Oh, you wonder if I, and he puts his hand on his chest, if they have come to take me?
I just simply wondered if they bothered you on any regular basis, since you said you have been out here for most of, well,
Um,
for some time.
yes, for the night morning. i- i- yes, it has happened in the past, but I have gotten pretty good at hiding, going mostly unnoticed, or else may not look it, but have had some luck defending myself in the past from them and other things. You have not introduced yourselves. You say you seek Vestani in Valaki. Is that right?
Yes, forgive me. I am Ariam Kachi. We are recent guests to this land.
Hmm. Explains your appearances.
Yes,
You have not met any.
this here's my brother Zelly, and I am Zazarak. It's a pleasure to meet you.
He once again extends his hand.
I'll shake his hand.
There are some who maybe hold some resemblances to you also with the Vistani in Valaki. There are not many, but maybe it would do you some good to speak with them. Also, if you want any good graces, I think in Valaki, you would not maybe want to be sharing the name of Victor Valakovich. I do not think it will get you much in the way of kindness.
You are not well respected in the city?
Well respected. I am the burgomaster's son. But no. Well, if you are to go to Valaki, you are best to follow this road. You have maybe, if you have good walking speeds, 3 hours. If you are as green as you say, probably 5.
Thank you for the directions. You will be safe out here? Are you sure you would not prefer to return with us?
I think I would not.
As you wish.
He waves to you all as you pass. And I think here is where we're going to take our 15-minute break as I get some other stuff set up real quick, because I did not think you guys were going to take this road today. continue on your road, on your path on the Svalak Road, after the brief and strange encounter with the heir apparent of Valaki. Him and his weird cats. The continued silence of the forest around is only now almost rhythmically interrupted by a periodic and almost metronomic cawing of a single raven. Looking up, you can see one circling overhead. And shortly after noticing it, it is gone, only to return a few minutes later and make high looping passes over you. And it is possible that this is different ravens, except the tone by which it is calling. Few of you with keener senses, the meter of its call almost as if marking every 100 paces or so. There seems to be some method to this animal's madness. However, upon taking any notice of it, once again flits out over the treetops and is not seen for some time. As continue.
You think another of this, another of the master's creatures is watching us for some reason, or do you think that perhaps this might be for Irina?
Certainly seems like we're being watched, and I can think of only one person who would do watching. Whether it's for us or for Irina, time will tell, I suppose.
I don't suppose anyone wants to risk hunting the creature.
Well, it's been some time since I've given this short bow any use.
Yes, I think there might be more value in letting it follow until such time as we part ways with Irina. That might then give us the answers to who is being watched.
Seems a reasonable plan, I suppose.
So you're not attacking it.
Not just yet.
Okay. Just wanted to be super clear about that.
Mhm.
Right. Observed as you feel, you continue on your way. Hearing ahead the odd and anguished sounds of an animal in distress, a braying horse that is in some sort of panic. Around one of the bends in the road, you see a loose horse that is bridled, that is stomping and braying at a small pack of wolves that are circling it and snarling. Put you on the map so you can see what's going on. Determine how you'd like to avoid or interact with this as you will.
We are going to save the beast, right? And it clearly belongs
Yeah,
to someone.
can't
Yeah,
leave that
can't
horse
lose.
to the slaughter.
Start rushing that way.
Okay.
Perhaps if we tear portions of rations, we can appease the creatures without having to slaughter all of them. Pick up new supplies in Valaki.
But sounds like an excellent idea.
All right. We'll roll initiative and handle things according to turns, how you'd like to handle them. Ever use horses? Weird rolling initiative for the horse, who is continuing to give itself the as much benefit of security as it can, stomping out, but taking the dodge action. Zeldrin, you have an opportunity to act.
I'm going to run forward 30 feet, and then I will teleport another 30 and kind of just get right up in here. And then keeping myself like on a swivel, not like, understanding it's not a great idea to turn your back on a horse that's agitated. And I'm going to kind of like appear a little threatening towards this wolf next to me, and kind of just want to try to scare it off.
Okay.
I'll just kind of like, bang my hammer against my shield and, yell at it a bit.
Okay. Um, it's weird because I want to let you use animal handling, but I also think that this is an intimidation check. I
Uh-huh.
think either of those is fine.
Well, got a 0 charisma and a 20 wisdom, so I don't know why I've got guidance on, but
All right. Shouting and striking your shield certainly does nothing to calm the horse down at all. But the wolf in front of you shrinks lower, still growling, but no longer like snapping and circling.
that's it for my turn for now.
Okay. I do like that you mentioned not wanting to turn your back on a panicked horse, but you did teleport right in front of it.
Yeah.
I will.
But I didn't teleport right behind it, and that's the dangerous
Zezarak will follow his brother's lead. Will move forward, and then Starlight step right in between these two wolves, and he will reach into his pockets and drop one ration each, sort of right in front of each of these wolves.
Okay. I think in most circumstances this would grant like an advantage on a check, but because they are in aggressive hunting states, I'll let you just roll a flat animal handling.
Oh yeah, I'm totally amazing at this, so it's gonna go great. Oh, actually,
Hey.
not bad.
It's a good roll for a -1.
Yeah.
They do turn to snap at you, but at the immediate like disposal of something that has maybe not isn't highly aromatic, but like they have their attention snagged at least momentarily. Arium?
Seeing Zezarak head to the south side, I will do my best. I cannot actually make it there, but I can dash.
Okay.
And I have not drawn my weapon. I am just reaching into my pack to get food, like ration bag, and can't do anything till next turn.
Okay. I'm going to see. I have one wolf that is still not so distracted that it has an opportunity to make an attack. And it is still going to attack the horse. Good lord. Nat 20 out of nowhere without the advantage from pack tactics. There is the animal cry as teeth sink into the leg of this horse. And oh my god, and bring the horse down, actually, with a firm and hard pull. The horse has a brief opportunity to try to defend itself while prone, and will not manage to make any contact with the wolf. Zeldrin.
If our goal here is this horse not dying, then I'm going to cure wounds a horse.
Okay. Okay.
Then I'm gonna move here. And that's it.
Okay. Zezarak?
Um. Yeah, what I would like to do, let me know if I can accomplish all of this. I'd just like to drop 2 more rations on the ground. I seem to be eating these, so I'll drop 2 more on there. And then I would also, at the wolf that bit the horse, I would like to, cast a sacred flame.
Okay.
The fuck out of here!
It yelps and actually is seared to death. Which actually I think is going to effectively diffuse the aggression in the other wolves, seeing the threat to harm it is that they are currently in. So I'll let Arium go as well. If Arium wants to do anything.
Yeah, with whatever rations I've got in my hand, I'm trying to get the attention of the last wolf, and then I'm chucking him into the woods to get it to run off.
There's definitely confusion from this hound that is struggling with both fear and then confusion. But on their turn, the remaining wolves pick up whatever scraps are available and duck off into the woods, and then this one goes after what you've thrown. So that is going to be that encounter. Well, maybe figuring out what to do with the horse is still part of the encounter, but the initiative we can drop.
Yeah, I'll try to just speak calmly to the horse and calm it down and introduce myself to it and try to take hold of the reins.
Okay. The horse is still prone, just so you know.
Yeah, yeah. I'm not trying to like mount it or anything. I'm just trying to like, you know, calm it and introduce my scent and speak to it and grab hold of the reins to lead it.
Okay. Let's have a animal handling check. Okay. uh I think this horse still has a very real sense of the threat to its life, but is running out of the ability to continue to be panicked.
Hmm.
And you can just kind of weather that out without risk of harm to you or others.
Uh, I just give it some time to rest and then kind of nudge it to its feet, hooves standing, and then just start walking with it back towards town.
Okay. You notice that uh, most of its fic.
Tack.
Well, yes, but I was trying to think of other things as well because you also notice that it has um things braided into its hair.
Hmm.
Um, it is, like I said, it is bridled, and it has also partially torn from it at this point, but there is the remainders of an untorn saddlebag as well. Um, a lot of material has been lost or uh, taken or something, um, but there's some stuff remaining on this horse as well as marks of care to the horse's hair.
I'll give it some time to see if we can find an owner before I go digging in the saddlebag. But
Okay. And you're just taking it on the road still?
yeah, just leading it, walking it, in the direction of town.
Okay.
Keeping an eye out for like a dead rider on the side of the road or something.
Why don't you make me a perception check?
That I
Natural
can
20.
do.
Holy shit.
Um, as a matter of fact, when you are some ways away from this spot, this horse is gone. It would seem considerably distant from where it's found. There is a torn apart corpse of someone who is in some vibrant clothing of more modern style and foreign look, as you've seen some of the Vistani in the past.
Well, I thought we might return this horse to its rider, but I don't think that rider's going to be doing much animal care in the future. Suppose we can return it to the Vestani themselves.
Should we put the former rider on it and bring him with us so that they can, whatever their traditions are?
That would probably be the honorable thing to do, indeed. I think while we're here, I'll take a quick inventory of what this poor soul's left behind.
You find some trinkets, mostly. No pocket of coin. But some odd curios.
I don't suppose there's anything in there that tells us this poor soul's name or even just their initials. I mean, I suppose the folks in town will almost certainly be able to identify them.
Well, they were torn quite asunder, but hopefully.
Is there any chance we can tell what made these wounds?
Can roll me a medicine check.
Yeah, he seems pretty fucked up.
You've had considerably bad rolls for the skills that you are bad at.
Although that animal handling roll, got lucky on
Yep.
that one, so I can't
Yeah.
complain.
Yeah. Right. If no one else wishes to make a check, we'll get you guys back on the road.
I trust my brother to. If we could tell what these wounds were, I'm sure we'd be able to.
Yeah, I mean that limb there, it's either an arm or a leg, so
All right. On you go, farther and farther into the mountains, where you can feel the bite of the cold, even still beginning to creep through the thicker layers of clothing that some of you wear. Irina keeps herself tightly bundled. I don't think any of you are properly wearing cold weather gear, but it is not so cold yet that you need to worry about that.
Resistant to
However,
cold.
Arium's
Ah,
fine.
lovely weather. Lovely.
Sheds a jacket.
yes, I must agree. Quite lovely.
This cloak of protection doesn't protect from the cold very well, like a cloak's supposed to.
You can tell that even as brisk as this is, while still manageable, if you were to continue to climb into the mountains, it would definitely be troublesome if you were to go dressed as you are. Now, on your road ahead, uh, with the cawing of the raven almost heralding your call, or once again beckoned, your attention is once again beckoned by the sounds of someone crying. A soft whimpering of a voice, not like the mad and intense wailing that you heard in Barovia, but just a soft sob um, of, as you approach, a very small and sickly looking youth. who has sort of the red or brown hair and looks incredibly dirty and is certainly not dressed for the weather. When he hears the sounds of horse and footfalls, he does pick himself up and hide behind a tree. This is all very noticeable to you, astute adults.
Hello there. Are are you lost? Are you in need of assistance?
An overeager nod.
My name is Arium. These are my friends, Seldrin and Zazarak, and this is Arena, and that large fluffy thing is Floof. Can you come out and tell us your name?
Steps out. He's only wearing soaked socks, and then dirty old clothes as well. Christopher,
Are, are you from around here?
he nods. I'm from Valucky, but there was my sister and I, both from Valucky. There was an old woman who took us from the city, took us to an old mill. My sister, Vasha, she's still with her. I don't know the way home.
Your sister is still with who?
The old woman.
Do you know this old woman, or did she just find you on the road here?
Shakes his head. Our mother gave. And then he just stops talking and starts crying again.
Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. If I have a jacket or a cloak, I will pull it off and wrap it around him.
Yeah, if you've got like adventurer's clothing, you have layers, yeah.
Do you know which way they went, and we can perhaps retrieve your sister?
He shakes his head. I'm very lost. It's just a windmill.
Your sister's been taken to a windmill. Okay.
Hmm.
Perhaps we can get you to safety. We are headed to. I, I believe we are headed to Valaki ourselves, so we can get you home safely. And if we should find a windmill on our way on our way there, we can keep our eye out for such a thing and try to save your sister.
He just cries, throwing his arms around you.
Pat him awkwardly on the head.
I say,
Yes, yes, yes.
say, Christopher, um, do you think you would prefer getting a piggyback ride from one of the three of us, or perhaps riding on my big fluffy friend Floof over there?
Irina slides off of the hamster and uh, sort of crouches down for to let herself be approachable.
Oh,
And after consideration, Christopher goes over towards the hamster, looking
Floof,
at it
now
with
kneel
kind of
down.
yeah, wide-eyed terror, briefly, and wonder, and putting his hands to the soft down fur. Irina helps him climb, and then climbs up behind him to keep him steady.
Yeah, I figured that'd be nice. All that fur, it's got to be nice and warm.
He
we
nods from up there.
on the lookout for a windmill. Um, can I see anything either through these trees or peeking out above the trees?
Why don't you make me a perception check? The mists are incredibly tricky. You think that you begin to see through the trees some sort of form and structure, but when another wisp of fog passes in front of them, you don't see anything. You can't tell if that's real trickery or if maybe you just don't actually see it.
Hmm. Oh, I can't see much of anything through these mists. Uh, What about either of you? Do you have any other ideas on how we can find this location?
I
Well,
can try to track back where the child has been recently, but it will take some time. It will delay us returning Christopher um to Valaki.
Yes, I must admit I do not know what to do in the circumstance. Is it better to race back to Valaki and perhaps try and gather some intel as to where this windmill might be and head back out?
Mm.
Seems like then we are potentially losing time to rescue Vasha, but on the other hand, to stay out here puts Irina and Christopher at risk.
well, as we approach the town, whatever this windmill is, it's certainly nearby. I couldn't imagine there wouldn't be a path to it. Um, we gotta transport the grain that gets milled somehow. We'll keep an eye out for anything standing above the tree lines that'll catch wind, and maybe a off-shooting trail would lead us there.
Well thought, brother.
All right. You're just going to continue on the road then?
Keeping a sharp lookout for anything that might indicate a windmill nearby.
Okay. I'll take perception checks from all three of you then.
Is this worth it? Yeah, I think so. I'll use my inspiration.
Oh.
Yeah, that's a
Worth
good
it.
use of inspiration right there. Hell yeah, dude.
Absolutely worth it. The three of you keeping as sharp a look as you possibly can. First of all, notice the small muddy foot tracks of Christopher that had brought him to the tree that that you found him at. And while those tracks may not take you very far, after perhaps an hour, maybe a little longer than that, there is what you notice, all three of you, a rutted animal path that distinctly pulls off of the Svalak Road, but does not have a crossing on its opposite side. The raven has stopped cawing, at least for the moment, and has flown down landed on a tree branch near this path. Looks at you all with like a cocked head, then hops to a higher branch and sits.
Yes, we see it too, Raven.
Is that a comfortable loft you've got up there, Raven?
Squawks at you.
Well, let's peek down this trail, see what we find.
What should Christopher and I do?
You know what? Oh boy. How far do y'all reckon we are from City of Valaki?
Immediately turn to look at Arena.
She gives you a perplexed look, once again reminding you she has not left the house.
We're not from this land and have never been. I mean, this is as far as we have ever been west in your land. I didn't know if perhaps, you know.
I think that you and I are in a likeness in that statement.
Well, I think, given that we have no intended, it's not like we're heading to Vlaki to meet up with Irina's grandmother or anything. We have no one to contact there once we get there. I think it's best we stay together. Furthermore, Christopher here, if home is not as welcoming as it once was, I wouldn't want to send him to someone who sent him away.
What?
Maybe stay with us and just keep outside should something happen.
Right. If they both stay on Floof, if it looks like there's any serious trouble, I can tell Floof to head down the road in the direction we were headed and to keep heading that way until he hits the city wall. But otherwise, he can keep both of them out of trouble. Or at least out of any trouble that we're directly engaged in.
Wait, I mean, we can't be too far from Valaki, right? I mean, Christopher here has to have traveled from the city. Do you think it would be safe to send them? Wait, hold on. No, that seems like a terrible idea.
I don't know that it was a terrible idea. It was my first inclination too, but given the fact that we've already encountered, 3 potential troubles along this road,
Yes.
who knows what exists between here and Valaki. I think it's, a worst case scenario. If we find ourselves in serious trouble, we can send Floof along with the 2 of them and just tell him to run as fast as he can. Don't stop till he gets to the city wall. But it seems like we don't need to make that choice right now. We can make that if things get that dire.
Mhm. Well, down the trail then. See where it takes us.
Absolutely.
You make your way on the winding path through the Balanok Mountains on this lazy trail that's hugging the mountainside. It descends into a very small fog-filled valley. And in the heart of the valley, you see a walled town. Hold on. That is not the right description. It's for something else. That's weird. Hold on. Okay, sorry. Into this small valley, you see a stretch of land that is a barren granary. The tilled earth is completely overgrown. The fenced yards are overrun with creatures and plants that have made home here but do not stay here. You see occasionally like a hare jumping through some of the greenery, but then bolting out and fleeing into the forest. In the center of the glomerate of fields is a dilapidated stone windmill with the warped wooden vanes stripped bare of their fabric, but turning and creaking in the quiet forest all on its own. The onion-domed edifice leans forward to one side, as though trying to turn away from the stormy gray sky. You see gray brick walls and dirt-covered windows on the upper floors, a decrepit wooden platform encircling the windmill above a flimsy doorway leading to the building's interior. Perched on a wooden beam above the door sits a raven, hops and squawks at you, and appears to be rather agitated.
You want we should go in there, Raven?
It's just more agitated cawing.
Boo, you're gonna have to wait out here, and you'll let me know if there's any trouble, yes?
Squeak of affirmative.
Alright, so you get some more chin scratches. Be good. Irina, you look after Christopher. Christopher, you look after Floof. And Floof, you look after Irina.
There's serious nods from all three of them. I've got a map. Let me get you on a map. Make sure dynamic lighting is working. Okay, thank God. Okay. Now my map is small, so if it is the case that there is something you wish to do not within such tight proximity to the mill, please let me know. Oh, and first, I think I will actually move you over one so you can see the map itself. Oh no. Oh no 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 no! I put you on the wrong layer.
That might explain why I could not see anything but pitch black.
Yeah, that would definitely be it.
There we go. Oh,
Point.
So you have the front door, a couple of windows, and the milling fan itself that is moving but very slowly. You have about 100 feet between like the tree line on the path and between that spot and the mill itself. So if there's anything you wish to do in that 100 feet ish.
No, not for me.
Okay.
Not for okay. Or for Arian, I mean.
Okay. You just go to the front door?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you knock or do you just walk in?
Approximately how wide is this building, did you say?
20 feet.
Okay. That's not so-
Should we try a little friendly diplomacy, or are we just rushing in?
I'm not
I'm
sure
not
what we're
sh-
gonna find in there, but I don't
Yeah.
think it's anything I'm interested in being friendly with.
I will try the doorknob.
Yeah, you can open the door. I will move you to that part of the map. Door is unlocked. As you approach the door, you can hear the sounds of like chickens clucking inside, which is amplified upon the door opening. Let's see. The ground floor is covered or has been converted into a makeshift kitchen, but this room that you open the door to is filthy. There are baskets and old dishware piled everywhere. Adding to the clutter is a peddler's cart, a chicken coop, a heavy wooden trunk, and a pretty wooden cabinet with flowers painted on its doors, all crammed into every nook within the room. In addition to the clucking of the chickens, you hear a toad croaking, or you hear multiple toads croaking. You also smell the sweet smell of pastries, which is blending with an odd odor that seems to be something burning or deeply acrid, and the two smells are not mixing very well. The oven is, I was going to say the oven is on, but like the oven is lit and warm. Then you see that there's also some crumbling stairs that spiral around the outer wall that go up. You hear somebody cackling and chattering upstairs.
I'd like to flip that trunk open.
Sure. the the sorry. You see that there are a bunch of holes that have been bored into the wood of the lid of this chest, and when you
Mm.
open it, you just see about like easily dozens of croaking, complacent toads
Mhm.
just hanging out.
I just closed the lid. Well, she's not in there.
There is the laughter upstairs. As much as I'm curious what's down here, I think it's best if we proceed.
Oh yeah, I'm just looking at anything where the child might be hidden. Let's go.
Okay. I'll move you up. A haggard, heavy-set old woman with a face as wrinkled as a boiled apple sweeps the floor, pushing around a few old bones and stirring up a cloud of white dust with her broom. Her apron is flour caked and stained dark brown, A long, sharp bodkin impales her bundled up mound of gray hair on the top of her head. Dirt-caked windows allow very little light to enter this chamber, most of which has been taken up by a large millstone connected to the wooden gear shift that rises through the ceiling in the center of the room. There's also stairs up where you hear more laughing. You come up the stairs. She's humming to herself and sweeping, and startles. Guests, unexpected guests. Oh, apologies. She wipes her dusty hands off on her apron. Morgantha, are we here on business?
We are looking for a young child.
Child,
We were told
you
had been.
flatter me. I'm too old to be having children.
Yes. This seems. I was under the impression. Well, I'm going to just be rude and point out that I was under the impression this was a kidnapping situation. It just sort of looks between Zeldrin and Zazarak.
Morgantha, who else is in the house?
My sisters, Bella, Ophalia.
Can you do me a favor while we continue this conversation? Can you put the broom down?
Yes, I can.
Thank you.
She sets it down gently against the mill. And are we here on business then? If you've, have you partaken of our wares before?
We are here for the child Vasha. Nothing more, nothing less. Let us know
I'm
what
sorry. Go
you
ahead.
don't know what I'm speaking of.
Doesn't sound familiar.
An insight check is what I would like to do, which is gonna go great. Oh, well, very well. My apologies. Perhaps we could talk to your sisters about this child.
If you insist. Girls, she shouts upwards, and the giggling upstairs abruptly stops. We have company. And there's some steps as two other women. They do not have as interesting art. Um, let's see. Come down the stairs. They are also wearing aprons, but they are not as flower covered as Morgantha. And they have a sobriety to them now. They are marked probably. I was gonna give you guys, for the players' note edification, probably around 35, maybe 40. For you guys, you have no fucking clue. Uh, apparently, adults at least, but not so aged as Morgantha. Yeah, here they are. Now that we're all crowded in here.
Yes, it's wonderful. Love being so close to all of you. A woman in town, 2 children. We've been told that they were left with one of you, brought to a mill. We're looking for the female child named Vasha.
I think you're going to have to be more specific than that.
I feel like I was very specific just then. to
Here's the thing.
Yeah.
See, if you don't have Vasha, that's fine. We just thought whoever had him might like to complete the set.
Oh. Now, we don't go very long into the names of our particular assets. By specific, I think mostly you happen to have a description of the child.
You were given a boy and a girl by their mother. The boy went missing, and you have the girl.
Oh, the she gestures to the other two at a height level approximate, and says, the lucky one." And one of them nods. Yes, she is here. And you have the other one?
We do. So now the
Excellent.
question is, how much to complete the set?
Oh. Hmm. Well, it is the custom that they are offered in exchange for a single dream pastry. Although, seeing as you gentlemen seem to have gone to quite some lengths by the look of your situation, sort of grinds her teeth a little, perhaps we could offer one to each of you. That is, I think, more than a fair price, given our typical bargaining meter. Her sisters kind of nod.
Oh, well, I think you've misunderstood. I was wondering what we would pay you to complete the set.
A misunderstanding indeed. Unfortunately, Vesha, whatever you called it, not for sale.
Well, I was
Well,
hoping
that
this would be a
be a
friendly
problem.
negotiation. Aram,
Hmm.
do you have something you'd like to add?
No, I think the problems have been voiced suitably. Uh, I'm out
Yeah.
of questions. However, I do believe that Rokea might have something to say.
Oh, well, ladies, please, I implore you, just give us a child before Rokea makes an appearance. I don't know that I will be able to control him, and at least with us, you can reason. I cannot make any promises as to what will happen if Rokea shows up.
You hear that, ladies? She does not really turn her eyes from you. These fine young gentlemen think that they have the authority to be threatening us on our own property.
I've
For your
only
own
said that
safety,
Rokea
dears.
would like to speak to you. It's more a question. It's less a question of authority and more drive, perhaps desire, perhaps. What, if I may ask, were you What was the price that was, or what was the bargain rather that the price was these two? I
Their
imagine that.
parents.
Yes, exactly.
Parents offered them both in exchange for a single dream pastry apiece. However, they're not interested in letting anything come to anything other than polite business discussion. You are so bent on getting the little one back. Perhaps we can be offered something to be of such worth.
If I may ask, what is the purpose of these pastries that these parents would exchange two children for one pastry?
Barovia is a land that has built itself into its own prison. It is the only chance that Barovians have to escape is in their dreams. We offer them dreams, nothing more. And for many Barovians, we also offer them the added benefit of having one less mouth to feed.
You know, I think I'm gonna have something, but it's on my mount outside. Would you mind if I ran down and get it and came right back up?
Can you make me a... This is a deception check, I think. She
It's not.
knows... Well,
It's
the
it's
thing...
exactly what I'm intending on doing. Is going down and grabbing stuff from a mount and coming back up. I'm
Yeah,
being
but
100% honest in what I'm trying to do here.
okay, I will let you make a persuasion check then.
I mean, actually, okay, yeah. Well, I mean, that's not gonna cut it
That's
anyway.
a 2.
You know what? I'll use my inspiration and see what happens. There we go.
She looks you up and down with one sharp eye. Eh. And she waves you off with a hand.
Okay, I'd run down and I run back up with the tiny clockwork figurine of a dancer that's missing a gear, black wooden pipe that creates puffs of smoke that look like skulls, and a walking cage. So basically, actually, all 4 of those things,
Okay.
and one by one. And after each one, I will see if that is enough. I mean, skulls.
Pretty. Mm.
And look at this spool of thread. Never runs out. Never have to worry about donning socks ever again.
The 3 of them pass some of the items between each other and inspect them each. I think we could give you half of a child for this.
I'm afraid we must insist on the entire child, but perhaps we can find enough that might make up for the other missing half.
Well, I have in my bag those 13 keepsakes.
Yes.
Traveled
Items
with us for so long. Be ashamed to give them up, but for the
taken
child's safety.
taken from a very dedicated servant of the Lord of this realm, it seems.
Oh, brother, not the 13 keepsakes.
Do you produce them or you just bluff?
I'll start setting out a couple of them.
Seldrin, you couldn't see shit in there, could you?
No, I couldn't.
Oh, well, let me
That's
just
the
try to get fix some lighting in here. Oh, God. Okay, there you go.
I'll set out like the mummified hand, and then just slowly start rustling through and pull stuff out. I don't have the full list of those items
Uh-huh.
easily, but
Okay. Each one of these items is dutifully inspected, and Morgantha says, all of these are pathetic, really. Miserable insults for artifacts of their kind. But they have memories on them. Not yours, certainly, but others. I think we should make a deal. You may take these trinkets. You may have the whole child. And one of her sisters groans behind her.
specifically the one we are looking for, not just
Yes.
any child.
Yes, the little Valaki child. Yes. The girl. Bella, go get her. She waves, disappointed, and one of the sisters goes upstairs. You hear some footsteps and things happening above, and shortly after that, a little girl who carries some of the same expression and traits of Christopher is brought down by Bella. She is likewise shoeless.
Well, that is a good deal. We
You're
appreciate
a
your
lucky
honest
little one.
dealings.
We are incredibly honest in all business dealings. Thank you. You're lucky little one. It sounds like these fellows might have somewhere else for you to go. She snaps her teeth or like jaws at the child, and the girl frightens. Morgantha laughs and lets her on towards you three.
I will reach out for the girl's hand if she'll allow me to take hers.
Very, very nervously, just
Mhm.
crying.
And I'll just sort of pull her behind me a little bit. Um, I am curious about these dream pastries. How far do your business dealings extend? Is it just to Valaki?
Primarily, actually. Yeah. The village of Barovia has our best traffic, although Ophalia has had some luck in Verlaki recently. She narrows her eyes at her sister.
Oh, is this Ophalia, your sister?
Yes. Uh, yes, Ophalia. I had to make sure I was saying that name right. Morgantha, Bella, Ophalia.
And you just go door to door with these?
Yeah. It's easier. People don't like leaving their cities most of the time.
Hmm.
It's dangerous out there, you know.
Well, thank you three for your time. I don't know that I have anything else.
You're welcome to
I'll-
a pastry if you'd like. A gold apiece.
Well, that is very kind, but unfortunately, I'm short of coin. Vasha, would you like to get out of here and see your brother?
You could feel her nodding behind you.
I will
We should,
reach back to pick her up.
we should certainly get going. The latch that holds my warhammer to my hip is growing thin. I think I need to repair it. We should go before it detaches itself.
We'll be here in case you have any other needs of our services.
She gives you a broken grin and walks you out of the mill.
I may ask one last question. How is it that the lord of this land, how is it that you operate in this way within his borders? Do you have an understanding with the lord, or does he simply ignore your activities?
Mm. Oh, you mean to say if the Lord approves of what we do, what we offer, or what we trade in?
What you prey upon?
Oh.
The citizens here in this land, they are his subjects, after all.
Mm. Technically, I suppose. We're all under his protection. After a
Ah.
fashion. As far as approving goes, I don't think he cares. He gets what he wants no matter what. Always gets what he wants.
That largely answers my questions. Thank you.
Tell the lovely woman you're riding with. She will like Valaki.
If I'm honest, it is very unlikely I will do so, but perhaps.
So it yourself. Take care, and don't be strangers.
You all leave?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
As I go down to that next, are they following us out?
Yes,
Okay.
Morgantha is leading you out.
Okay. So I can't take that broom with me. Okay, that's fine.
Correct. Okay. You all leave the mill, head back towards the trees, and upon seeing the giant hamster, there's a small libation of Vasha's panic and fear, and seeing her brother, uh, just tears of relief.
See, there you go. Why don't you sit up there with your brother and we will get y'all someplace warm.
Tezarek,
Hmm.
it occurs to me that we cannot exactly return these two to their parents. If we were to do so, it is very likely that they would end up exactly back here, back at the mill.
Ooh, yes, that is an excellent point. Well, we will have to think on it as we head back to the city. Hopefully, once we are there, we'll be able to find a more suitable and more stable environment where we can leave the children. It also occurred to me, do you think it was Ophelia knocking on Irina's house in the middle of the night, offering us them pastries?
It is not unlikely. I mean, it was someone offering those same pastries for sure.
It's certainly possible and very likely. You're correct.
Um, Well, are the ravens still around?
The raven that was over the door is not. But
Okay.
as you take the path back up to the road, the one who was sitting perched and watching you flaps its wings and caws with some like enthusiasm, and then just and settles itself.
Does that mean you all happy with what has occurred? Call once for yes and twice for no.
Single caw and more flapping of the wings.
Well, it makes me happy to have made you happy.
The raven once again flutters and then takes off to the sky.
Once it's off into the sky, I will quietly. We know we're going to have to kill those three, right?
I will certainly itch to do so now, but it will be a tough fight, I'm sure.
Yes, my concern was that even if we did so, that perhaps the children were somewhere we would be unable to find.
Oh no, yeah, I completely agree. I think we did the right thing. We need to get these children to safety, but they made it pretty clear that it wasn't just these children that they are after, and that they have taken many before and will probably take many in the future.
Indeed. Maybe we get Irina and the children situated somewhere, and
Yes.
whenever they are not directly under our protection, make our way back.
They also did not seem at all perturbed that we three had broken into their house and were considering engaging them in such fashion. It might be
They did laugh at the thought of it.
exactly. That is a problem for another time. First, let's get these two somewhere safe. Well, three, including Irina.
Yes.
Back to the road and on to steadier paths, climbing more northward and absolutely into the cold. You begin to see over some crests of hills the glittering surface of a lake in the mountains. And eventually, the road meanders into a valley that is watched over by the dark and brooding mountains on the north and south. The woods begin to recede a little, and the fog melts some. You see farther than you feel like you have in a while. It reveals a sullen mountain berg surrounded by a wooden palisade. The dirt road ends at a set of sturdy iron gates with a pair of shadowy figures standing behind them. Planted in the ground and flanking the road outside the gates are a half dozen pikes with wolf heads impaled on them. Just to the, I believe, east of the city itself is an encampment you can see. Just barely built, I believe, against one of the walls. Trying to determine. With many of the colored wagons that you've seen the Vistani in before, and some folks milling about, some in colorful garb, and then some in sullen cloaks. As for anyone else outside of the city, you see none. Just this row of wolf's heads, and then the iron gates ahead. Approach.
Well, I have to say that their core does lend a little hope that perhaps they are prepared to defend themselves. On the other hand, they're still selling children. So perhaps best if we're all careful.
Yes, most definitely. Say, do you think any of these colorful carts and wagons are the same ones that led us here?
Certainly possible. It's I will be honest, I don't particularly remember very well what those wagons looked like. That was days ago.
I was not exactly attempting to take stock in hopes of finding the same wagons again, but they certainly might be. But whether they are or not, they are a step closer to our goal, I believe.
I'll make a light correction to what I said. It is not against the wall of the city itself, but it is off some footpaths from the city into the forest some, but the woods here are thin enough that you can see the encampment. So kind of still within spitting distance, but not right up on the wall. I have a map.
Maybe if the people of Lockie task us with asking these Vistani to be farther away from their town, they'll lead us back through the fog and into our own realm.
Dude,
We
that
can
would,
certainly hope.
that would be hysterical if that turned out to be the case. And she's like, "Yep, campaign's over. Got back to Daggerford. The end.
You got out. You figured it out.
Solved. Well done, everybody."
I think that is a good spot to end for right now, and we'll start next session with you trying to convince the guards to let you in. How's that?
Sounds
Love
good.
it.